Spending time with yourself is the greatest investment that you can make. What's up, yo? My name's Elliott. This is another episode of UrbanSage. I'm coming from you live in Los Angeles, like always. I'm just chilling in my apartment right now. I started thinking today about how important it is to spend time with yourself. I've been spending a lot of time with myself recently, and I've been noticing that the time I've been spending with myself is what has allowed me to accomplish so much. It's what has allowed me to really gain focus and have an understanding of what it is that I'm really trying to accomplish, what goals I'm trying to reach, and really see that and really embrace it, and be able to call it like my vision. So I just want to talk about the importance of spending time with yourself and being alone, because I think in today's society, it's kind of looked down on to spend time alone and, not really spend time with yourself and not really, be in society. But when you're alone, you really gain the ability to have some clarity about what it is that you want to accomplish. And in that time alone, you get some time to really develop what those dreams are and what that vision is. When you're alone, you really start to have an understanding of who you are and what you have to contribute. It's almost like a internal practicing. Like if you were to practice a sport, if you're trying to get really nice at basketball, you got to spend some time on the court. You got to spend some time before and after the game, like with yourself playing, and just really spending some time honing the craft. And your emotions and your subconscious is the same. Like if you want to have a real firm understanding of who you are and really be able to manage your emotions and understand what traits and attributes and character you have to contribute, you have to spend some time with it. You have to spend some time with yourself to really have an understanding of who you are. And this solitude, this time alone, it really compiles on itself. It snowballs. The more you do it, the stronger you become at it. The more of a firm ability you have to sit with yourself. At first, it's not enjoyable. I was never really that kid that was invited to parties, or I was never really that kid that went out. It happened here and there, but I've spent a lot of time alone. And not to say that spending time with others isn't of value, but when I first started spending time with myself, it was painful, and there's a lot of obstacles that are gonna present themselves to you when you spend time alone. Like you're feeling alone, being lonely, it sucks. It's depressing. It's one of those things that people strive away from the most. And it's not that being alone isn't painful, because it really can be. But when you start to find value and you start to understand that when you are alone, you have the opportunity to strengthen yourself, being alone starts to really have a much greater significance than if you're almost being forced into being alone. Like when you seize the opportunity, it starts to really have value. So I really just want to make the point that if you're working on accomplishing whatever it is that you're striving to achieve, I really encourage you to spend some time alone. I really encourage you to, really dive in wholeheartedly and embrace the development of your dreams and your goals and your visions. Spend that time alone. Really invest in who you are. Whether that be like a skill or a trade, or just really trying to have a firmer grasp on your own understanding of who you are. Really dive into that. Really dive in to say, this is me, and I'm going to take the time to understand who me is. I think a lot of people don't really take the time to invest in who they are, And that's why there's a lot of people just, floating around. And I feel like that's why, like I feel like that's why average happens. Like average is going to happen no matter what. Like if you show up, you being present, you being alive is gonna almost force you to accomplish a couple things. Like you're gonna get a job, and probably get a relationship, and you'll have some good and some bad times, and you'll just be alive, and that's great. Not everybody is trying to achieve this higher plane of existence, and that's cool. Like, it's not good or bad. Like, that's not the point. But if you're really trying to achieve something greater, if you're trying to be further than average, achieve further than average, accomplish more than the average individual, you're going to have to do more than the average individual. And the average individual, the common person, is not spending time with themselves. At least I don't think so. I've never done a survey. I haven't taken a poll. But I got a pretty good idea, seeing everybody at the club and seeing everybody doing this or that in the limelight, trying to really grasp other people's attention. It's not what's going to put you above and beyond another person. Like, you investing in yourself is what's going to allow you to really go beyond what is average and what is common. So, like, there used to be this Visa commercial, and the commercial was like, it was completely black, and then slowly this light gets brighter and brighter, and you realize that you're a person walking into the light. And the person walks out into the Olympics. And then a caption just comes out and it says, "What you do in the darkness puts you into the light." And that I must have seen that like 8, 12 years ago. I don't know, 10 years ago. But that really always stuck with me. This idea of, what you do when you're alone really distinguishes who you are when you're surrounded with other people. And the thing is, Jim Carrey says, as soon as you start wanting to be alone, people are going to want to be with you. So as soon as you make that decision, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to spend some time with me. I'm going to have an understanding of who I am, and really, invest some time and energy and effort into understanding me and this part of me and these characteristics of who I am. People are going to want to hang out with you in that moment. As soon as you make that decision, I almost guarantee it, someone's going to hit you up to hang out, and you're going to, as soon as you start diving into having an understanding of who you are, you may have this desire to go hang out with somebody. And cause it's like when you first start working out, like you may have the running shoes, you may just had drank the pre-workout, you ate some protein, you got the gear, you got everything going on. But as soon as you get into the gym, you're in there for 20 minutes, like when you plan to be in there for like 2 hours, like, and you're just like, I'm gonna leave. Like, if you're not adapted to doing this type of behavior, whatever it is, consistently, it's going to be hard to start that initial process of being a part of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So I say that to be like, in the beginning, it's going to be difficult, or it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be unfamiliar, right? A friend of mine says there's nothing hard or easy. There's just some things that are familiar and unfamiliar. So I really encourage you to have the awareness that, if this is the first time that you're going to start to really make the decision to invest in yourself and, make the decision to be alone, it may be unfamiliar, and that feeling may push you away from investing that time in yourself, like that unfamiliar feeling may not be comfortable. You may not enjoy it. But I'm telling you, the more that you invest in yourself, the more that you have an understanding of who you are, what traits, character, attributes you have to contribute to society, to really show up to a situation or an event with, you know, like what you should focus on should be your tools and attributes, and it should be like what you have to present, right? So the more that you have an understanding of whatever it is that you have to present, whether that's like a physical skill or like technological awareness or you know, emotional appeal or whatever it is, the more that you have an understanding of whatever you have to contribute, the more able it will be to be utilized. So through, man, I honestly just lost my place. But like when you start to spend this time with yourself, really know that the time that you're spending with yourself is meant to add value later. Like this guy Jim Rohn says, he says, you know, save your pennies because they're going to become dollars. Like, you know, you may think like, oh, you know, what's another 5 minutes? I'll go do something else for 5 or 10 minutes, you know? But like, that's like taking, you know, 10 cents out of a dollar. Like all of a sudden, like you're kind of broke because, you know, you didn't really keep that time, you know, you didn't keep that focus, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and the opposite exists, right? So if you say, I'm going to invest this 10 minutes, this 5 minutes, this 20 minutes, whatever, all of a sudden you got a couple dollars, you know, you have some real worth of wherever you put your focus. So, you know, in the beginning, it may be difficult, you know, I don't want to guarantee that, but I got a pretty good understanding that it will be, because that's how it was for me. You know, like I just finished writing a book, and I'm really starting to throw myself into making these videos and doing all these posts and doing you know, putting myself on a platform that I'm unfamiliar with, right? Because, you know, I've always been this person, you know, like I've always been the one to, you know, throw information and give advice. I've always been this person, but I've never put it into this environment, right? And it's unfamiliar. And, you know, I'm looking at this video right now, and, you know, it has 2 million views, and, you know, I got 20, and I'm like, man, you know, but I need to believe in myself that, you know, this time invested in what I value will become of more significance the more I invest into it, you know. And the same's true to you, whatever it is. Like, you know, like I like to look at people further down or more accomplished. Like, let's take like LeBron James, or like, let's take LeBron James. Like, I really doubt LeBron James, first time he picked up a basketball was, you know, playing in the NBA, right? Like, the first time he picked up a ball, he was probably like, yo, what is this, right? But now he's like one of the most famous basketball players in the world, right? People in the world, really. But, so I say that to be like, the initial time in the beginning is going to be unfamiliar, and that's okay. Right? Like, it's okay for you to say like, wow, this feels weird. This feels completely unfamiliar and abnormal and weird to me. And that's okay. But if you really value it, if you really say, you know what, like, this is me, this is an attribute of who I am, like, this is really something that I want to invest in. If your why is strong enough for why you're really being involved with whatever it is that you're investing in, it's going to be so worth it. It's really going to be worth it, right? And, you know, if you don't have an understanding, like, this is all about the importance of being alone, right? Either you're going to spend time alone to develop something, or you're going to spend time alone to have an understanding of what it is that you want to develop, right? So, like, one is like, man, like LeBron James, and like, he just, you know, you invest in yourself, and all of a sudden, like, you got like the consciousness of like equivalent to like someone like a pro athlete, you know what I'm saying? Like you're master of your craft, like emotionally, right? Or skillfully or whatever, right? Like you got it once you spend real time with yourself. And the other is like, you have no idea what it is that you want to be a part of, and that's also okay, right? Like, in spending time alone, in saying, you know what, like, I'm gonna stay home tonight, in saying like, you know, I'm gonna spend some time with me. like you're going to really start to have an understanding of who you want to invest in, what attributes of yourself you want to invest in, right? And that's one of the real beauties of spending time alone. Because if you have this understanding of what it is that you want to invest in, man, like honestly, like that's the easy part, right? Like if you know what it is, if you say I'm really good at this thing, I'm going to spend some time honing this craft, investing in it, man, good for you. Cuz like honestly, like I didn't have that. I didn't have that like really like instantaneous awareness of what it was that I wanted to invest in, right? I had to go through some trial and error. Like no one ever told me like, hey, sit down and invest in yourself and, you know, like really analyze what attributes of yourself that you want to like grow and what environments you want to be a part of and contribute towards. But the other side of it is, you know, if you take this time to invest in who you are, even without having an understanding of what it is that you want to invest in, it's going to be a priceless experience. Because remember I said not everyone wants to really reach this higher level of existence, but if you do, you're going to really subside this level of pain that's going to happen if you don't. Because if you don't spend time with yourself, and if you don't have an understanding of where you want to contribute and what attributes of yourself you want to grow, you're just going to be moving through life having this desire to really be of more significance, but not having an understanding of how to do it or in what ways to do it, right? So because that's how it was for me. Like I thought that, you know, being a barber or tattooing or, you know, being a bartender, doing all these things was gonna be the way that would allow me to really express who I was. But I never took the time to really understand who I was and what parts of me I wanted to grow. I was just guessing. I was just guessing at tattooing. I was guessing at bartending. I was just, you know, trying to figure it out. And if someone would have told me, spend time with yourself, man, it would have saved me a lot of pain, you know? So that's why I'm making this right now. Because spending time with yourself is one of the most important things that you can do. It's probably the greatest investment that you can make, really. If you have nothing at all to invest, you have your time and you have your energy and you have your thoughts. And that's what you should invest in yourself. And really, those are probably the most contributing tools that anybody, rich or poor, or known or unknown, have to really add to their experience and really contribute to whatever it is that they are trying to develop. Your time, your energy, and your focus are the essentials, right? And when you invest those things into yourself, rather than just, you know, hanging out with this person or thinking about those things or putting your energy towards something outside of you. I mean, not to say that it doesn't have value, but when you invest it into yourself, it becomes exponential, right? Like it really becomes exponential. So, you know, like really spend some time with yourself, whether that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 3 days, a week. You know, you're gonna receive out of it as much as you put into it, right? So really commit to, you know, saying what however much time you put into it, whether that's a minute or a year, however much time, commit and say, you know what, I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to focus. I'm not going to really try and think about anything else. And I'm going to invest in some time in trying to understand who I am and where I want to be and what do I have to contribute, what environments I want to be a part of, and really invest in it. And you will be amazed by the results. I was shocked to find out the types of traits and qualities that I have. You know, it's nothing that I ever really could have expected to realize without having taken the time to really comprehend it, right? Like you don't know until you know, right? So, I mean, you probably have no idea what it is that you have to contribute, or you have no idea where it could go, right? So take some time and really start to figure out the unknown of who you are, and you'll be amazed, you'll be shocked, you'll be baffled by the end of the time that you invest in yourself, you know? So this has been another episode of Urban Sage. You know, I'm so glad I got to talk with you guys. Please drop a like, drop a comment, share this. I'm so grateful. You know, stay tuned for the next episode. I'm not really sure what it's gonna be about, but I'm sure it'll be sick. You know. So thank you guys, and until next time. My name's Elliott. This is Urban Sage. All right, peace.